Why hello again, Commander. In this lesson, you're going to get acquainted with your units and some of the abilities that make them unique. Every unit in Red Alert 3 has some sort of special ability, in addition to its primary ability. The majority of your unit's primary abilities is to attack their targets. A unit's special ability may put a nasty status effect on an enemy, switch to an alternate weapon, or even transform into an entirely different unit.
Let us go over how to use special abilities now. Select that allied cryocopter, if you please. The cryocopter's special ability is the shrink beam. With the cryocopter selected, left-click on its special ability button in the bottom right of your screen, or press the F key. Notice that the shrink beam is a targeted special ability, which means you have to left-click on a target to use it. Other types of special abilities take effect as soon as you press the ability button. Now then, use the shrink beam on my good friend the Soviet Hammer tank.
Wait, what? No way, not me again!
I can get the hang of this.
Melting!
As stated earlier, not all special abilities need to be targeted like the cryocopter's shrink beam. Some abilities cause units to switch weapon modes. Blimey, that tank looks like he's lost control, and all you've got is an allied hydrofoil. Its primary weapon is an anti-air cannon that won't do you any good here. However, if you use its special ability, it'll switch from its gun to the weapon jammer. Select the hydrofoil now and ready the weapon jammer by left-clicking on its special ability button or hitting the F key. Proper. Now, have your hydrofoil fire on that Soviet apocalypse tank on the shore. So much for that tea party. As you can see, the apocalypse tank can no longer fire. Not so scary now, is he? So remember, even the toughest enemy units may be vulnerable to your lesser units' special abilities. Learn them all and never give up.
If you're finished with your motivational speech, perhaps we can continue? Commander, let's go over a unit whose special ability is to transform. One basic example is the MCV, though let us take a look at a more exciting case in one of the Empire of the Rising Sun's versatile Mecha Tengu units. The Mecha Tengu is an amphibious, hovering anti-infantry unit that can transform into the Jet Tengu, a flying air superiority fighter. Not only does the transform ability affect how it navigates the battlefield, it also means the unit changes from having anti-ground weapons to anti-air weapons. Select the Mecha Tengu and use its special ability.
Let's go have some fun!
Impressive, no? Now, order your Jet Tengu to destroy that miserable cryocopter. Oh, and don't worry, it is merely a training robot carefully disguised to look like a real vehicle.
No robots are going to get past you, Commander. You should know there are some units at your disposal whose primary ability either isn't a weapon at all, or will change depending on what you tell it to attack. For example, each faction has its own type of engineer unit, like this swarthy fellow over here. Engineers are special units that can capture any enemy structure or neutral tech structure. Much like with moving or attacking, you can select your engineer and right-click on a capturable structure. That'll make him go after it. Look, there seems to be an oil derrick you can capture out in the water. Oil derricks are neutral tech structures that provide additional income. Go get it.
I can do that. The Union takes what it wants.
Off he goes. Note that engineers are amphibious, so they automatically switch to a keen aquatic form when they get to water. Not all units are amphibious, of course. Notice you can issue capture commands into the fog of war, assuming the structure is still there when you get to it.
Hey, where did that engineer go anyway? Ow!
He went into the structure, you fool, and there he shall remain forever, for that is the way of the engineer.
You may have noticed that when you highlighted that enemy structure with your engineer selected, your cursor changed to a garrison cursor. That garrison cursor indicates a structure you can enter. Your basic infantry can't garrison enemy structures or neutral tech structures like the engineer can, but they can garrison civilian structures such as hotels and houses.
Fear not, for civilians have long since abandoned such structures once they heard we were coming.
When infantry garrison these structures, they receive extra protection, as the building they're in will take damage instead of the units themselves, should they come under fire. Garrisoning your units into civilian structures is a good tactic, both from an offensive and a defensive perspective. It helps to secure locations, force enemies to take an alternate path, or give your units more cover near to your base, should the enemy send a force to destroy you. Now garrison that nearby structure by issuing a move order onto it whilst having some peacekeepers selected. Good, they're in. And here comes trouble. As you can see, those enemy training robots fired upon the structure rather than directly at your peacekeepers. Watch out though, because each faction has ways of clearing out garrison structures.
The Allies and Empire can try rushing their peacekeepers or Imperial warriors into a garrison structure, while the Soviet conscripts can use their Molotov cocktails.
Of course, you could just blow the structures up if you cannot be bothered by such details.
Now, let's say you need to get your peacekeepers out of the structure. Just select the structure and use the evacuate command, just like using a special ability on a unit. Do this now.
Tactical unit. On point. En route. Scanning perimeter.
Some of your units can also be garrisoned by your infantry. The multi-gunner IFV is a unique allied vehicle whose weapon takes on the characteristics of whichever infantry unit hops inside. Order one of your peacekeepers into that IFV and watch what happens.
If I may, normally the IFV's weapon works best against aircraft. But once you garrisoned your peacekeeper into it, it changed into an anti-infantry weapon. While the IFV can only contain one infantry unit at a time, other vehicles can hold more and can transport your infantry around the battlefield. For example, the Riptide ACV is admittedly a good transport for getting infantry quickly and safely from one point to another, although infantry cannot fire out of it. Garrison your remaining infantry into the Riptide now. Now that they're garrisoned, let's move your Riptide across this lake and over to the shore on the other side. Look for the marker on the radar.
Engine's running. Gotcha.
Riptides are a special type of unit in that they're amphibious, meaning they can traverse both land and water. As my comrade said, not all units are amphibious, so it's good to make note of the ones that are. Some units behave differently on land and water. For instance, when your Riptide is on water, its torpedo tubes open to give it additional firepower. Now that you've made it to the other side, let's get those peacekeepers out. All transports have the not-so-special ability to evacuate their passengers. Use the evacuate ability now.
Door's always open.
Finally, let us discuss contextual attacks. A contextual attack is what you get when your cursor changes to something other than a normal attack cursor. Select the allied commander who has showed up so very unexpectedly.
Got something for me? I'm there. ASAP.
This Agent Tanya has different ways of attacking targets depending on the type of target. When you order her to attack enemy infantry, such as these lifelike robots, your cursor will be that of a normal attack cursor. However, when you highlight an enemy vehicle or structure, you get a demolition cursor. When ordered to demolish a target, Tanya will move very close to the target, set some charges, and blow it up. This is an example of a contextual attack. Go ahead and dispose of those forces using the commando.
Where do you want me? Headshot. Good night. Don't blink. Go back to sleep.
Other units, such as our allied spies like this one here, also have contextual attacks. Select the spy, then use his contextual attack on one of those enemy training dummies. Now who's the dummy, am I right? As you can see, the spy's primary ability is to disguise himself as the enemy. Alternatively, if you highlight an enemy structure, you can try to infiltrate it to disrupt the enemy's base.
Infiltration has different effects depending on which type of structure is infiltrated. Experiment with all the possibilities. Incidentally, the Empire of the Rising Sun Shinobi unit may also infiltrate structures. Only the tactless Soviets lack an infiltrator.
Oh! But why?
Come on, lads, we have to get through this. Commander, that's the end of this lesson. See you in the next one.
Mission accomplished.
Why, hello, Commander. In this particular lesson, we're going to be covering top secret protocols and how to use them, as well as the threat meter and some other heavy stuff. To begin with, let's have a look at this here base. Let's say you're low on credits. If at any point you decide that you no longer want a structure that you've placed, you may sell it. To sell a structure, left-click on the sell button under your radar, then left-click on the structure you wish to sell. Right-clicking cancels out of sell mode. Try selling one of those power plants now.
He was a good power plant. But you can build another. Don't go crazy selling everything. What would your friends think if you failed a tutorial mission? Hey, quit it!
Relax, friend. I was just about to explain to the commander here how to repair. It's pretty important. To repair a damaged structure, left-click on the repair button under your radar. Then left-click on your construction yard. Give it a go.
You'll notice that the repair icon has appeared on your construction yard, indicating that it's undergoing repairs. Structures can only repair as long as you have sufficient funds. You may notice that as your structure is repairing, your credits are slowly trickling down.
Now then, let's talk about top secret protocols.
Top secret protocols is just a fancy term for special support powers you can use. These will affect the battlefield, your enemies, and your units and structures. Basically, they can get you out of a pinch. Keep in mind, you need your construction yard intact in order to use them.
Each faction has its own set of protocols which can be offensive or defensive in nature, sometimes both. As you progress through a battle, you gradually earn security points which you can use to access new protocols. Progress towards your next security point is indicated by the meter surrounding the top secret protocols button on your screen. The number in the button is your current number of security points.
Now, let's go over how to access your protocols. Left-click the top secret protocols button or press the tilde hotkey to the left of the 1 key to bring up a menu of all the dirty tricks you can use. As you can see, this menu has like 15 different protocols to choose from. The protocols are ranked by levels, so to access protocols further down the list, you need to access the ones above them first.
As mentioned earlier, there are different types of protocols. There are offense-oriented protocols such as surgical strike, which can damage enemy forces. There are more tactical protocols such as chrono rid, which can protect your units or split enemy forces. And then there are upgrade protocols that provide passive bonuses, such as advanced aeronautics, which toppens up all those weak little allied aircraft. Unlike offensive and tactical protocols, upgrade protocols take effect immediately once acquired and do not need to be activated manually.
Each protocol costs 1 security point. Now, go get Surveillance Sweep from your top secret protocols menu. Well, sir. Looks like you've been cleared to use Surveillance Sweep. What an occasion! All protocols available to you will appear on the left-hand side of your screen. To use Surveillance Sweep, first left-click on it. Now you need to select a target location for the sweep. This one's a little dodgy because you then have to select a second location to plot a trajectory. So, left click once, then again someplace else in the area near the edge of the screen. Give it a go. See that? Make sure to have a look at the notes written next to each protocol, so you're aware of what you're signing up for before you pick one of these. By the way, the protocols available to you are determined solely by the faction you're commanding. So even if you pull a stunt like capturing an enemy conyard, doesn't mean their top brass will open the kimono on their military secrets. Makes sense, yeah?
Next, we'll talk about the threat meter, which gives you an impression of how much death and destruction is happening all around you in a given moment. The threat meter increases in battle, especially when you sustain heavy casualties. And the higher it is, the faster you earn new security points. Higher levels of threat also influence how quickly your units gain combat veterancy. The higher the threat, the faster your units will become great heroes from killing foes. Veteran units display a little chevron. They're better at killing enemies, and once they achieve heroic status, they automatically regenerate to boot.
Watch how one of your units gains veterancy by mowing down droves of hostile targets. Heroic forces like these can make a huge difference, so best keep them around. Speaking of which, what sort of commotion over there?
It appears you are under attack. Take advantage of your high threat meter and vet up your forces while using some of your top secret protocols to assist you. Fear not, for this is only a simulation involving lifelike robots.
Oh, now it's on. Try to build up enough forces to stop your enemy's invasion, then take those units to the enemy's base and destroy it.
Remember, you also have access to your top secret protocols to help you take down your enemy. Ow! Whatever. Figure it out for yourself then.
Prospector on duty. Whatever you need, I'm here for you. Who wants a ride? I'll job in. We're in good hands, my friend. How's that? On time as always. Let's make tracks. You're in good hands, my friend. Hit it, Chippy. Plant the foot, will ya?
On time as always.
High speed, low drag. On in.
Pesky, aren't they? Have at it. Good as done.
Engineering. Got the plans right here.
Watch it now. You're in good hands, my friend. All right. Bit of jiffy. Bit of tick.
Time as always. Oh, hi. Analyzing schematics.
Hey, mate. How are you? High speed, low drag. We've got company.
On time as always.
Let's go then. I'm in. All right.
Engineer on duty. I won't be late. On time as always. Hey there, Command.
Multi-gunner. Let's make tracks. I'm here for you. Good as done. Let's make tracks. All right. Let's go say hello. I'm in. Let's go then. Bit of jiffy. Hold it right there.
I've got the knowledge. Need a repair? Oh, hi. I'm here if you need me.
Who wants a ride?
Engineering. Oh, hi. Hello? Hello? How can I help? I'm listening, sir. On time as always.
Whatever you need.
Hey there, Command. On time as always. On time as always. How can I help? Got the plans right here. I'm listening, sir. Piece of pie. Engineering. On time as always. Studying blueprints. Hello? Hello? Analyzing schematics.
Hey, mate. How are you? I'm all ears. Plant the foot, will ya?
Always.
Let's make tracks. Let's go then. Let's make tracks. Bit of jiffy. Out you go.
On time as
I'm
always.
here for you. All right. Eat a tick. Let's make tracks. Eat a tick. All right. Hey, mate. How are you? Let's make tracks.
Smashing work, Commander. You're now one step closer to becoming a serious threat out there. We're done with this lesson. See you in the next one, all right?
On time as always.
Mission accomplished.
Back for more then, Commander. In this particular lesson, we'll be going over some of the more advanced play mechanics that will separate the men from the boys. From earlier lessons, you should be aware of the Allied spy and some of his capabilities by now. Spies can disguise themselves as enemy units. Only scout units, the Allied attack dog, Soviet war bear, and Imperial burst drone can detect disguised enemy units. Spies and Imperial shinobi can also infiltrate enemy structures. When you infiltrate a structure, it'll impair your enemy's base in various ways, which should give you the upper hand. For example, if you infiltrate that enemy reactor, the entire base will power down for a while. Go ahead and infiltrate the instant generator by right-clicking on it whilst your spy is selected.
Undercover. Yes, Commander.
Excellent, Commander. By infiltrating their generator, you've brought down their entire base's power, which in turn powered down their base defenses. That will certainly make it easier to destroy their base. Stupid robots. Oh no! It appears the Empire of the Rising Sun is sending in a force to destroy your tanks. You'll need to retreat your tanks back to your base. A clever way of doing that is to reverse move them back to your base. This will allow them to continue attacking those enemy units while retreating to a safer location. To reverse move your units, select them and press the D key on your keyboard. Notice how your cursor changed. Right-click on the target destination near your construction yard to order your tanks to retreat. Another benefit of reverse moving is that it keeps a unit's stronger front armor facing the enemy. Most vehicles are more vulnerable from the rear and flanks. So when you retreat from enemies using a normal move command, you'll turn tail and take more damage. Reverse moving allows your unit's stronger front armor to take the brunt of the fire.
Good job, sir. Your units made it back and were able to whittle down those enemy tanks health enough for your base defenses to finish them off. Had you issued a normal move order back to your base, your Guardian tanks might not have fared as well. Incidentally, should the enemy catch you off guard with an attack, listen for audio cues from your intel officer and visual cues on radar to tip you off. To jump to the most recent radar event, just hit the spacebar.
Enemy commando detected.
Or to get back to your main base from anywhere in battle, tap the H key. Oh, pants. It looks like the Empire is sending another attack wave, but this time they've come at us with infantry. Your base defenses are strong against infantry, but with that many of the blighters, I don't think it's going to be enough. So, a good way to dispatch large quantities of infantry is to crush them with vehicles. Not all vehicles can crush infantry, so it's good to familiarize yourself with the ones that can. Small vehicles like your IFVs and Riptides are examples of vehicles that can't crush. On the other hand, larger vehicles like Guardian tanks and assault destroyers can crush a man like so many potato crisps. What's more, some of the largest vehicles in Red Alert 3 are big enough to crush other, smaller vehicles. Anyhow, let's crush those robots.
Wait! You may wish to assign your tanks to a control group first. This is an important way of managing your forces. To assign units to a control group, select them, then hold the control key and press a number key. Do this now, please.
What's it gonna be? Guardian tank. We're on it, sir. Guardian tank good to go. Guardian tank at your service. What's it gonna be?
Good. You may now select those units at any time by pressing the corresponding number key. You can also jump to the group by double tapping the key. Now please proceed with crushing my robots.
Thought you'd never ask. To crush enemy infantry, select your Guardian tanks and issue a move order behind the enemy infantry. You can also issue a force move command using the G hotkey or using the Advanced Commands tab near the bottom of the screen. Issue a move command to the designated location with your tanks now. What's on the agenda? Seeing as how that Rising Sun base seems intent on taking us down, let's go over some ways to get your units to protect your base without being drawn out by the enemy. All of your units can be set to different stances, which affect their behavior. All units start off in guard stance, meaning they will auto-acquire enemies that come within their attack range and pursue them for a short distance if they try to flee. Once the dust settles, your units will return to their original positions. We need to have some of our units on defense for our base, but not pursue our enemies. To do this, we need to put them into hold ground stance. First, select one or more of your tanks. Now click on the Advanced Commands panel in the bottom right of your screen next to the unit portrait. As you can see, this panel reveals some additional controls for your units. Select the Hold Ground button to change your unit's stance.
Simple as that, you've just changed your unit's stance. Keep in mind that no matter what stance your units are in, any orders you issue will always be followed. Stances will only affect how units behave when not under your direct control. Now, take 3 Guardian tanks, not counting our field instructor, and move 1 to each of the designated locations and put them into a hold ground stance.
We're on it, sir. We'll be on our best behavior. Move it out, lads. What's on the agenda? Of course, sir. Guardian tank at your service. Approaching area. What's it gonna be? You heard the boss. Guardian tank at your service. What's on the agenda? What's it gonna be? Guardian tank good to go. Ready as always. What's it gonna be? What's on the agenda? Capital. Could we be of help, sir? Ready as always. Gentlemen, let's move. Guardian tank good to go. Capital. Guardian perfect. What say we also set up some base defenses? Each faction has a couple of its own base defenses. The Allies have multi-gunner turrets, for example. Select the support structures tab in the sidebar, build a multi-gunner turret, and place it near your tanks. Multi-gunner turrets change weapons if you put different infantry into them, though the rocket launchers they use by default should be handy in most cases.
You can also build walls from your support structures queue. To do so, build and place one wall segment, then build and place another along the same row as the first. You'll see the build grid show green to indicate where you can form a solid wall. Careful though, each wall segment costs you, so longer walls are more expensive. Walls are useful for blocking smaller forces like those pesky engineers, always trying to steal your structures. Go on and try building a solid wall at the front of your base.
Capital. Now if the Rising Sun attacks, we'll have some extra defenses waiting for them that they won't be able to draw away from our base. And here they come. As you can see, they've decided to retreat back to base, but your Guardian tanks stood their ground and didn't continue after them. Had your Guardian tanks followed them back, they most likely would have been destroyed by the Empire's own base defenses.
Yes, the Empire's base defenses are quite impressive. You may need to use combined arms to defeat them. In fact, if you depend overmuch on just one or two types of units, you are bound to fail. Thankfully, it is easy to manage multiple types of units at once. Try selecting all your combat forces on the battlefield using the Q key. Good. Notice you have multiple unit types in the contextual tab in your sidebar at right. One type of unit in your group will always be selected. To cycle between unit types, simply tap the tab hotkey. Try this now. Switching unit types in this fashion makes it easier to use your mixed group special abilities without deselecting the group. We should also briefly touch on waypoint mode for its use. Waypoint mode lets you queue up move or attack orders. To use waypoint mode, hold the Alt key while issuing move or attack orders as normal with units selected. Your units will complete the orders in sequence.
Service. Affirmative, sir. Could we be of help, sir? Of course, sir.
Now, earlier we had mentioned how directional armor comes into play during battles. Another type of armor bonus your units can receive comes from an automatic reaction to enemy fire called suppression. Suppression only affects infantry units. When infantry units become suppressed, they go prone on the ground and continue firing. Suppressed infantry are slower, but more resistant to damage. Send your infantry into that city square there and attack that garrison structure.
What's the next play? Got your back. All right, coach. Got your back. Stay low. Let's hustle. That zone's mine. What's up? Let's hustle. That zone's mine. Sack 'em.
Banzai! As you approached the structure, your units came under enemy fire, and some of them were suppressed as a result of the enemy attacks. Due to this suppressed position, your units could absorb more damage and in turn deal more damage to that enemy structure, allowing them to destroy it.
Oh! What was that for?
That was for my robots.
Well, good job, Commander. You now know some of the advanced tactics that'll surely make you a worthy adversary on the battlefield. Now get out there and knock some heads together. Go on, what are you waiting for? A fancy ending with a sappy montage? As for you, boys, the truce is off!
Finally, you jerks!
Shut up!
Mission accomplished.